What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet. This is Sid Sr. speaking, and as we have a tendency to do around these parts, we'll be bringing you another Transformers review. This time around, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers the Movie Studio Series 86 Scourge. So, as we normally do, let's take a look at that packaging first. So we'll say goodbye to Scourge for a moment, and we'll bring that packaging front and center so we can get a nice look at it. Bring it up close so you can see that artwork. We've got some good artwork of Scourge right there with his long pink fingernails. Studio Series 8605 Transformers the Movie. Scourge 8+, Hasbro logo. Got the Scourge artwork on the side, Transformers Authentic. Back here on the back, you've got your product shots. Big screen inspired, Heralds of Unicron, reformats Thundercracker into Scourge, backdrop included. You have all your warnings down here. You do get the sad baby, which is always good to see. On the side, you get the close-up artwork of Scourge. He is a Voyager-class. Up top, you get Transformers the Movie. And on the bottom, you get manufacturing information and all kinds of other good stuff if you care to read that. So, that's it for the packaging. Let's talk about what came in there. As always, the first thing we'll bring out is this useless piece of paper right here, good for a fire starter. Next thing, get the instructions. So, again, nice, concise, easy to follow, not bad. All right, bring Scourge back here in the picture, and we'll talk about the two accessories that he comes with. First and foremost, we will talk about his rifle. So, nothing too exciting here. It's a nicely molded rifle. There are no paint apps on it. And you do have the hollowed out areas to save some plastic, but at least they have some detail in there, which is nice. So, nothing too exciting there. But you do get an effect part. Yes, this is great. It's a new effect part. It's different than the other effect parts that I have. So, I'm all kinds of happy. And yeah, you'd be surprised to see that, yeah, it does that. So you get this effect right there coming out of his gun. It's a little loose on mine, though. It's kind of sad. I mean, it's enough to keep it holding on. But if I shake it a little too much, it does that. I guess, you know, don't shake it, right? So, easy enough. All right, so let's put those off to the side, and we'll bring Scourge in for his close-up and take a look at all those nice details he has. Come in close, take a look at that ugly mug. Boy, you just look like something right out of a biker gang. Got his red dot right up there on the top. Does have his robotic facial hair. Decepticon logo right there on the chest. He does have his mechanical six-pack abs. Nice detailing right there. Come down and take a look at the legs. Again, not a lot to talk about here from a paint standpoint, but he does have good molded in detail. Surprisingly, even here on the tops of his feet. So that's a good touch. And then you do get paint apps right here in these pegs. So, you know, it's kind of hard to see, but you do get some red in there. Take a look at those arms. You get paint. Red paint in the shoulder as well. And good detail there. You do get those lovely, lovely fingernails. He's obviously had his mani. So good for him. And we'll take a look at the back. And it is pretty much his entire vehicle mode folded up into a pretty large backpack. But really, it's not that bad on him because this kind of looks like a cape. And he's a evil cloak, cape wearing kind of guy. So this works out really well, especially from the front. I think that just looks really, really nice. So I really, really like what they've done with this guy. Something else worth noting before we get into the articulation is there are not that many hollow areas on this guy. Now, he does have these two hollow areas right here on his leg, but they don't really detract from anything, in my opinion. They don't serve any function. So not entirely sure why they're there, but even if you look on the sides of the arms and you look at the armpit, there's no hollow area there. Backs of the legs, I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal, guys. Look at this. So, you know, you have this area right here for the thigh rotation. They did not need to extend this plastic right here, but they did. They brought it all the way down and they just filled that gap. And that just, I don't know. I just can't express how much I appreciate these little bits of attention to detail on these figures. It just really goes a long way. So anyway, I'll stop gushing about the filling in of the hollow areas, and we can talk about the articulation. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the articulation on these wings, because I'm going to go ahead and move them out of the way. So this is the typical configuration for the robot mode. But you do have the ability, because they're on these double hinges here, you do have the ability to just go ahead and angle these wings back. You don't want to try to bring them back completely, because they will bang into each other down here on the nacelles. But, you know, if you just want to bring those back a little bit, this really aids considerably when it comes to posing. It gives his arms a lot more degree of freedom, but it does have a tendency to make him top heavy. So if you're going to pose him with the wings back like this, you're just going to have to compensate by, you know, bringing those legs forward, doing something like that for a pose. So for the articulation, this is meant for transformation, but his red dot does turn. So, you know, if you want to give him some of that action where he's not quite looking at you, but he's going to burn you with it, you can do that. And then the head is on a ball joint, so you do get some quizzical side-to-side looks. It's like my dog when I ask her if she wants to go for a walk. Huh? And you do get a little bit of up and down. You can get a 360 out of his head. You just got to be careful of his robotic beard there, because it will catch. So as long as you keep the head tilted back, you can get that all the way around. For the shoulders, they come up that far. And you can do a full 360, just, again, be aware, you know, that you do have this area right here. So as you turn those around, you're going to want to bring that arm out, but you can go all the way around with it. You do get bicep rotation all the way around. You get just over 90 on the elbow, and you do get a very, very, very tight, at least on my copy, wrist rotation. So this is incredibly tight, but you do get it. You get the always welcome waist rotation. And I'm going to go ahead and keep his arms up. Why don't you just stand like that. And for the hips, now you do start running into a lot of interference between the tops of the thighs and these pelvic areas right here. So you're not going to get a full split out of him. You're going to get about right there, which, you know, 99 times out of 100, that's more than enough. So I'm not going to complain too much about that. You can get a little bit more, you know, if you move his legs forward like that, but yeah, for the most part, you're here. Now, his legs will kick forward this far and straighten out. There you go. Kick forward that far. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate on this leg, because again, you need to manipulate this wing, get that out of the way so you can see that he'll kick back that far. So you do get good forward and backward range of motion on the legs. You do get the aforementioned thigh rotation. The knees, again, my joints on this guy, I'm not complaining, but they're very tight. Knees, you can get just over a 90 on those. And for the feet, you get heel and toe motion. This is due mostly to transformation, but they're stiff enough they can help you with poses. And you don't get any front and back on the foot, but you do get ankle rotation or ankle tilt. Not a lot, but it's better than nothing. So for the most part, posability, articulation on this guy is pretty darn good, especially considering he's wearing huge wings on the back. So let's go ahead and we'll get him transformed into his alt mode. So what you want to do there, just kind of get his arms and his legs straightened for transformation, because basically all he's going to do is he's going to collapse all this around his body. First things first, I always do this so I don't forget. Take his little red dot, you're going to spin that around 180 degrees. So you've got him looking like that. Come down here to the legs. Now you do have a tab here and a slot there, so you're going to push those two legs together. Squeeze them so they're nice and tight. Come down here to the feet. Flip the heels in, and then the toes will follow. And then what you're going to do up here, you're going to lift this arm up, and then you've got a hinge right here. So this is a point of rotation. So you're going to pull this shoulder away. You're going to bring this down, And then on his, I guess I should have shown that before I did it, on the inside of his forearm, you have a slot right there and you have a tab right here. So you're going to line those two up, squeeze that together, and you'll have that. Do the same thing on the other side, lift his arm up, bring it down, and squeeze those together nice and tight, so you have something that should look like this at that point. Now, go ahead and take the wings. Again, they're on a double hinge here, so just take these wings, pull them like this, and get them out of the way. So you're like that. Now you're going to come back here to his back. You're going to bring up, now this whole thing is going to want to come all together, because, at least on mine, because this pin assembly right here is so tight, but bring this rear part of the main nacelle up, and then that's just going to go right into the back of his head. So you have that. Then this panel right here, you're going to bring that up so it's angled like that. And then you're just going to grab that, you're going to pull that out, and that's going to pull this assembly out from his chest. Then you're going to bring that down, and you have this 90 right here. You're just going to straighten that. And then what you have two slots here, two corresponding tabs on the backs of his legs. Bring those down and align those and squeeze them together. And I'm trying to give you a good look of that, good view. So you should have something that looks like that. Then just push that down right there to make sure that you're in the right configuration. Bring this down. And then, well, before you bring that down, there we go. Bring that down, and then that covers his face. So you should have something like that. All right, now for the wings, you have these wings. They are on double hinges right. Let me see if I can get that focused. Right there, right there. So when you pull this wing, it's just going to come down like that. And you have these smaller nacelles right here. Bring those up. Then you have this gray panel right there. You're going to grab that gray panel and pull that out, and you can kind of see where this is going. This is going to be the side of his hovercraft mode. So in here, this is the most fiddly part of the transformation for me. So just giving you a heads up that this is a bit of a struggle. Ooh, sorry, I ran into the camera. Oh my goodness. Let me find a better angle. So you have this tab right there, and then you have this slot, for lack of a better term, right there. And what you need to do is you need to get that tab in that slot, and then back here in this area, you need to get these where they're lined up like that. Once you have that in that configuration, what you can do, well, let's go ahead and do the other side before I fold everything up. So bring this one down on the double hinge, bring that panel out, bring that nacelle up. And these nacelles might fall on me again, so if they do, I'll just bring them back up. But tab and slot in that area. Line these up right there. All right, so until you get this guy transformed up, this is a very fragile and fiddly part of the transformation. So should have something that looks like that. Now you're going to use these double hinges right here, and you're going to just bring these up. See how I'm bringing that up, and then collapse that down. But don't push it all the way in yet, because you do have the tabs right here that you're going to need to get lined up. So go ahead and bring the other one up and bring that down, and then you're just going to start fitting everything together. So line these two up, and then you just start squeezing. And then you've got these slots back here. Make sure they get lined up, and then you can squeeze those together. All right, so that looks good. That looks good. Bring that nacelle back up. All right, now the last thing we have to do is just collapse these two wings in, and that kind of makes the bottom of the hovercraft. So then you have Scourge Let me double check and make sure I've got everything here. You now have Scourge in his alt mode, in his pretty cool looking space hovercraft action kind of ship. And yeah, I like him. He's funky, but I've liked him ever since the movie. It's a cool design, and I think this turned out really well in robot mode and alt mode. So once you have him in this mode, you can, of course, give him his weapon. You do have the weapon storage. Again, typical Transformers vehicle mode weapon storage. Let's find a hole somewhere on the vehicle and plug the gun in. Oh yeah, that's weapon storage. Perfect. So you do have that. And, of course, you can give him his effect. Now, you can give him his effect right there. And yes, my effect is a little cattywampus. It's not exactly straight. Nothing a hairdryer can't fix. Warm it up and angle it. But you can put his effect right there. Give him kind of a pew-pew action there, which isn't bad. Or you can plug it in right here. So now you've got main nacelle pew-pew action. That's pretty cool. Now, if only you had more effects, you could plug them in right here. But wait, we do have more effects. So, we'll plug one in right there. We'll plug one in right there. And we will plug one in right there. Whoa, look at that. That's great. Yes, admittedly, it's not his little purple splaring effect, but that looks pretty awesome. So if you did feel so compelled to do the little purple effect, you could put that right there on his gun, and then you've got some crazy effect action going on in his vehicle mode. That's pretty cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and take those off. Now there is another mode in the alt mode that you can use, and it's the mode where, of course, if those of you remember, you can have Scourge where his face is exposed in vehicle mode. So, you know, you could do something the lazy way, I guess, and you could have something like this, where there he is. He's just kind of lurking. He's like an alligator with his eyes just above the water like that. But the right way to do it, per the instructions, is to go ahead and untab this area right here, undo these, untab right here, and then pop the wings back out. And I'm going to do this without losing my tabbed in side sections, so come on, let's do this. We can do it. All right. And now what you do here, just leave these spread out. Then you're going to come back here to these two tabbed sections. You're going to untab them there. You're going to lift this up. And now angle it down about like that. Because what you're going to do ultimately is you have these tabs right there. They're going to align to the slots in the nacelles. So once you have this up and out of the way, go ahead and bring the wings, or bring the body of the vehicle mode back together. Bring all that back down. Start tabbing everything in. Bring it down. Collapse everything. Try not to catch on anything as you do it, or you will lose your tabbed area right there, as I've just done. So bring this wing back out. Fix my tabbed area. And let's try that again. So lift that out of the way. Bring that down. Tab it together. There we go. Much better. Or so I thought. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now that you have him in this mode, all you need to do is gently pull those nacelles out. Line everything up. And then get those tabs and slots in the right spot. Squeeze that together. Flip this down all the way. And now, close those, of course. And now you have Scourge with his head exposed in the proper orientation. And that looks pretty freaky. I like it, but it's a little disturbing. Yeah. So, and then of course, you know, the same thing with the effects parts. I mean, you put the green or the purple effect up there as he's going around. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I can dig it. I like it. All right. So, let's go ahead and take that back off. And now we'll get him transformed back into his robot mode, and we're going to put him on his display base back there so we can talk about that and get that out of the way. So to get him into his robot mode, you are just going to take these tabs out, lift that up out of the way, untab him right here, and then lift these up, sorry, and lift those wings out of the way on that double hinge. And then you can just leave them here for now. We'll go ahead and concentrate on this area. So when you bring this up, you want to, this area is going to collapse into his chest. So you want to get everything lined up here so everything collapses up properly. So it's a little bit of origami. Sorry if I'm not giving you a good view of it right now. I'm doing what I can. Just having, bear with me here, guys. Got to get that folded in just right. All right, come here. So let me start back over so I can give you the view. All right, so when you have him like this, you want to fold him up like that. So you should have a configuration that looks like this. It's so easy to want to push that in, and that's not what you want to do. You want to have this kicked out and down so he's configured like that, because that way when you bring all of this forward, that just collapses right into his chest the proper way. All right, and then you're going to be left with that sitting almost completely perpendicular. Then you can take this flap, this panel, and bring that down. Bring the back of the main nacelle down. Collapse that into his back. Don't forget to turn this part of the nacelle around 180 degrees. And now you can collapse these smaller nacelles and collapse these gray sections right there in on either side. Pull the tab and disconnect the tab for these gray sections, and then lift this up on the double hinge as such. So you should have something like that. And you pretty much have the wings ready to go as far as folded up. The next thing you're going to need to do is you have these tabs right here, and you're going to go right into those slots right there. So bring that up on that double hinge, bring those in, and push those in. Do the same thing on the other side. And you should be left with that. All right. And then just angle those wings back a little bit. That way they're clear and out of your way. Now you can come up here and you can disconnect the arm from the lower leg, swing that up, connect it in, bring that arm down, and you have the left arm done. Same thing with the right arm, bring it up, push that in until it clicks, bring it down, and you have the other arm done. Now for the legs, open up those toes, open up those heels, and split the legs. And now you have Scourge back in his robot mode. Yeah, telling you, I like this guy. The transformation with the sides, it's a little fiddly, but everything else works really nice. And he is basically a shell former, but he does it in a really eloquent way, and I can appreciate it. So there's some good engineering that's built into this guy. So let's go ahead and we'll bring that display base in because it looks pretty cool. And of course you do have bombshell and kickback back there being turned into the sweeps And there you go. You have Scourge sitting there on his display base, and that looks pretty cool. I like it. All right, so let's go ahead and move the display base out of the way. Briefly talk about effects in this robot mode, and we'll bring in some comparisons. So, of course, we talked about his weapon. We talked about the purple effect. You do have elsewhere on his body, particularly on the sides here, by his ankles, his forearms, and if you move these wings out of the way, the shoulders, you do have spots for some effects. So, oh, Scourge down. He hasn't even been shot yet, and he went down. So that's what I was talking about with that top heaviness. Once you bring those wings back, that's just a lot of mass, and you've affected that center of gravity, and he's just going to want to topple over unless you counter it by, you know, tilting him down or having some type of a counterweight in his arm. Anywho, but you can bring in the effects parts, and you can plug them in and have him getting shot up pretty badly if you want to. I mean, he's having a bad day for sure. This kind of stuff is happening to him. And we'll plug one in back here. And yeah, he's having a rough go of it. So if ever there was a time he was going to fall, it's now. You know, he's not feeling so well. Of course, you know, you can throw an effect up here. That way he's retaliating. You know, so whatever you want to do there. So he does have effects compatibility, which is fun. Again, it's limited, but hey, it's better than nothing. And I do appreciate what you can do with this guy. And I love the new purple effect. That's great. And that almost looks obscene bringing it up close like that. Sorry, guys. All right, so let's take the effects off and bring in some comparisons. Now, I have to admit, full disclosure, this is kind of embarrassing, but I never, ever had a copy of the G1 Scourge. I always wanted him, but I never had him. So I, unfortunately, will not be able to bring in a G1 Scourge for comparison today. So apologies to everybody out there who was hoping to see that. It's just not going to happen. But let me straighten his legs out here. See if I can get him standing upright. There we go. Okay. So the closest thing that I have is the Transformers Generation Scourge. So I will move him over. And sorry for bumping the camera. That's twice in one review, guys. So let's move him over, and then I will bring in the Transformers Generation Scourge. And it really is no comparison, guys. I mean, this is far superior. This is fine, but it's not even his original form. This is a B2 stealth jet, recon jet kind of mode, and it looks fine in its own right, but it simply does not compare to this. This is really good. So, yeah, their Studio Series Scourge with the Transformers Generation Scourge from, I believe, 2010. All right, let's go ahead and move him out of the way. The next comparison that I will bring in is who Scourge was before he was Scourge, before Unicron grabbed him. So he was Thundercracker before he was Scourge. Now, again, this isn't an exactly fair comparison. You know, we're talking about a mainline Studio Series Deluxe class, and this is a masterpiece, but this is the best Thundercracker that I have, and I wanted to bring Thundercracker in. So for those who don't know, he was this guy before he became this guy. All right, so let's go ahead and move Thundercracker out of the way. Place him over here. And now what we'll do, just for fun, is we'll bring in his not his henchmen, his cohorts in crime from the 86 movie. So we'll center him back up. And although Cyclonus is technically a Kingdom release, there is absolutely no argument there that he should have been part of the Studio Series 86 line. This is just an amazing figure. And these two guys look so good together. Let me put him over here. They just look so good together. I love this. This is great. And for now, before the Kingdom release of Galvatron, the closest thing that I have that's going to match up to these two guys is the Titans Return Galvatron. So there you go. You have the three big bad boys from the 86 Transformers movie all up there together. I think that's a cool look. I like that. I'm so happy that he is part of the collection now. So, but man, still, out of these three, that is an amazing figure. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll bring in the other releases from the Studio 86 line, and we'll set them up for a family photo here, and move Cyclonus out of the way. And Scourge, I'm just gonna take your effect, actually. Let's go ahead and move the effect out of the way. Bring you in front and center. And of course, we'll start with the big guy first. We will bring in Studio Series 86 Grimlock. And we'll put them side by side to start off with, so you can see a size comparison there. Leader class, deluxe class. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's a Voyager class. I don't know why I keep saying deluxe class. My bad. So, leader class, Voyager class. Let's go ahead and move Grimlock a little bit in the back. Next, we will bring in the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. I think those two look pretty good together. Move Hot Rod back here a little bit. Next, we will bring in the Studio Series 86 Blur. And we'll move Blur over here. Next thing, we will bring in Mr. Cup. And we'll move Cup over here by Grimlock. And last but not least, we will bring in Mr. Jazz. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is the Studio Series 86 line so far. We have releases 1 through 6 finally complete. And let me put these guys together a little bit closer. Blur is actually a little bit taller, so I'll bring Hot Rod up here. Put Blur right there. Bring Cup in over here. And we'll put Grimmy in the back. Yeah, there we go. Still can't see their feet though, can you? That's better. A little bit. So, anyway, guys, yeah. My final verdict on this guy is unequivocally, pick him up. If you can find him, get him. He's a great addition, especially if you have the other Studio Series 86 collection. Well, yeah, add him to it. He is a really cool figure. Transformation is a little bit fiddly, but it's nothing that takes away from the enjoyment of the figure. And his overall look, his presence is really, really fun. He has effects compatibility. He has really good articulation. He just looks fantastic with the other 86 figures. And frankly, he looks really good with the Kingdom figures as well. So, especially when you pair up Scourge with Mr. Cyclonus here, and I'm going to bring him in for the family photo because that just makes sense. Gosh, that's so much fun. That's really cool. So yeah, there's no hesitation on my part. Pick this guy up. He's a great addition to the collection. You know, if you have any of these other guys, you're definitely going to want him. So don't hesitate. Grab him. I'm not going to speak about paying premiums online. I found this guy at Target for retail. I'm not going to pay scalpers more money if I don't have to. So anytime I can actually pick them up in a store or order them online for retail, I'm going to do it. I don't like buying from third-party people who overcharge just because they can. Anyway, that being said, that's the end of my review. Now I'm going to go for the shameless self-promotion here. So first, let me start with a big thank you to everybody who's been looking at the videos, everybody who's been giving us thumbs up, everybody who's been giving us rumbles on Rumble. Much appreciated. We're going to continue to pump these out. I hope you stay with us. I hope our family here grows. So if you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button. I promise you, you won't regret it. We are going to keep putting out quality content indefinitely. So this channel's not going to dry up on you. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. If you're on YouTube, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. if you're on Rumble, hit that Rumble button. If you can, help spread the word around about the channel, and leave us some comments. I love getting the feedback. Of course, I love hearing the positive things. Everybody does. But if there's something that you want us to do better, I mean it sincerely. Let us know, and we can incorporate whatever those changes are if they're reasonable. So leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know what we could be doing better. And with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks again for watching. Thank you again for your support. And we will talk to you guys very soon. Take care.